In one of my latest videos, I have discovered that Enlisted is growing at an even pace. This means that every day there are hundreds of thousands of people— I'm kidding, no, there are just hundreds of people who are creating new accounts and starting their journeys in Enlisted. Therefore, in this video, is dedicated to the new players. In this video, I'll cover the basics of Enlisted, how to get a good understanding, and how to start on Enlisted in general. Before we start, I highly suggest that you join the Discord, because if this video has neglected to cover some aspects of Enlisted, because let's be honest, one video cannot cover every aspect in Enlisted, then the Discord would surely do. With that said, without further ado, let's get started with this video, the ultimate beginner's guide for Enlisted. So the first thing we have up is the account setup, and this is basically pretty simple. All you have to do is put in your email that you want to use for Enlisted. For me, it's going to be an email that I'm not going to be showing. And then next we have my password, and my password is going to be 123456789, and that's for all the hackers out there. So after that, you set up a password and account. You're going to press login, and let's start with the soldiers and the ranks. So after the account setup, we have a lot of stuff after the account setup, and that, as you can see with this, a lot of stuff. Once again, we're going to start with the basics, and then we're going to move on to the basics, since this video is going to be covering the basics. So let's first start with the campaign selection. To the top right, you can see you have a campaign selection, and you can click the switch campaign button to switch campaign. Obviously, in Enlisted there is 4 campaigns, 4 to 5 campaigns, depending on if you count Stalingrad as a campaign and not just a waste of time. But there are going to be 5 campaigns in total. There are going to be Moscow, Normandy, Berlin, Tunisia, and Stalingrad. Once again, I highly suggest that you do not play Stalingrad, and if you're interested right now, you can just watch my Which Campaign is Best for You video, and that should be good for you. But let's just say I'm gonna pick a campaign, and that's gonna be the Battle of Berlin. After that, you can switch teams on the top left. You're gonna be saying Allies or Axis. I personally have pretty much maxed out Axis, so I'm gonna, for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna select Allies. Now, as you can see for Allies, I'm pretty lackluster. Also, on the switch campaigns, right above the switch campaigns, it tells you which level. The soldiers, as you can see, are a lot, and the first thing that you can see is that you have a lot of different units, and when I mean units, I mean different squads. Enlisted, you see, is a squad-based system, and unless you're a premium player, you're gonna have 4 squads and 1 vehicle squad. In this case, I have a tank, but most squads, you're gonna have 3 infantry squad, 1 tank squad, and that is gonna be it. And unless you're premiums, you have a lot more squads, but in regards to the regular squads, you only have 3 infantry, 1 tank. Now let's move on to the soldiers. Now the basic soldiers, you can basically customize them, and you can see I already have a pretty good squad set up. The Soviet PPSH squad, the Soviet assaulter squads in this case. Now, different soldiers have different uniforms, and for different squads, they have different uniforms as well, so you cannot change them, but according to the squads, if you're wondering about that part. But an interesting thing is that the soldiers' weapons you can customize. For example, if I don't want this weapon, I can replace it with another weapon, and if I don't want this weapon, I can once again replace it with another weapon. Other weapons such as grenades you can replace, mines you can buy from the logistics, which I'm going to talk about later, the flask, binoculars, and medic pouches you can also buy from the logistics. And speaking of the logistics, we're going to move on to the logistics right now. As you can see by the logistics tab, there are going to be a lot of stuff for you to cover. First off is going to be the weapons delivery. This is where you're going to get a lot of weapons, and all you have to click on and buy some weapons. Preferably as the later levels go on, you're going to have a harder time buying those weapons, and that is where Enlisted's economy system comes into play. But we're going to talk about both how to get weapons later and Enlisted economy later. But after that, we have the troop reinforcements. This is where you buy troop orders, and as of right now, once again, like with all of Enlisted, the more you level up, the more interesting stuff you're gonna get, and by the late game you're gonna have some extremely deadly units, but as of right now you only have a very, very few. After that we have the equipment delivery, and once again, like I've said, all equipment delivery come in the late game, so as you can get more equipment later on, you get a lot more stuff later on. Most of these equipments are pretty good. Some of these increase how much ammo you have, how much grenades you can carry, some anti-personnel mines, some large backpacks, anti-tank mines, to even small basic stuff such as flask and binoculars. After that we have the Battle Pass unique weapons, and before we even get to the Battle Pass unique weapons, these are very, very limited, And Battle Pass unique weapons are gold order weapons, and which I will talk about them later. And after that we have Battle Pass unique weapons, and that is once again very rare. And after that we have Battle Pass unique soldiers, in which once again it is really rare, but this time it's just for the troopers. The unique vehicles is more for the vehicles. After that, we have the premium squads, in which I highly suggest that you either buy some of the best ones or don't buy them at all, which I have a video covering which are the best and which are the worst, which once again you should watch. But that said, let's go on to the upgrades section. And upgrade section, all you have to do for the upgrades is to fight battles. Fight battles, which means you can upgrade your troops. Upgrade your troops, which means you can upgrade all these stuff. For basics, we have the squad upgrades, and all you have to do is, in my opinion, is to get the plus 25% squad research rate, and after that you can just go on to get all the rest. After that we have personal upgrades, in which we can upgrade the level of the troops, and after that we have the weapon upgrades, which is in workshop upgrades, and that is where you can upgrade the weapons. So with that all said and done, how do you upgrade them? And when you upgrade them, you're also going to upgrade the campaign, which just basically means it's the progression. For the campaign, once again, at the very starting levels, you're going to zoom past them like nothing happened, but at the very end, you're going to also get a lot harder time just to get stuff. And when I mean stuff, I mean a lot of good stuff. Obviously, a lot of these stuff are going to be really useless at the early game, and really useful in the late game if you unlock them at the late game. With that said, let's move back to the economy. So War Thunder has 3 types of currency, and they're going to be bronze, silver, and gold. Now, those 3 types of currency are going to be divided then in half: bronze troop orders, bronze weapon orders, silver troop orders, silver weapon orders, gold troop orders, and gold weapon orders, of which the bronze troop orders are for upgrading soldiers, the silver troop orders are going to be buying troops, and the gold troop orders are going to be getting even more unique troops that can be found once again in the logistics in the Battle Pass unique soldiers, which once again they're going to be very interesting. Now, these Battle Pass unique soldiers don't really give you a buff in any way, shape, or form to the battle, and let's be honest, they're pretty much useless. But that said, let's move on to the next category, which is weapon orders, and this time you have bronze weapon orders, which is for upgrading weapons this time, silver orders, which is for getting weapons, and gold orders, which is for getting elite weapons. That can be found in the logistics. Unlike the gold Battle Pass unique soldiers, the Battle Pass unique weapons are very good. And obviously you can get them very early in the campaign if you have the gold weapon orders, and I highly suggest that you get one. And if you're wondering which of the best gold orders that you want to get, I have a video covering that too, so stay tuned for that. And after that, talking about the logistics, we have the final terms in logistics, and that is enlisted gold. This can be used for pretty much almost everything. However, the catch is that this is very rare, and I highly suggest that you guys save up on this for the various battle passes and campaigns. After that, we have the squad selection. As I've said, you have 3 infantry squads, 1 tank squad, but you can change up your squads, that is considering if you play the campaign and unlock the other levels. But the main deal is that assaulter squads are mainly focused towards SMGs, rifleman squads are basically rifles, sniper squads are snipers, and stuff like that. There are going to be other squads such as engineers, radio operators, and more. In terms of squad selection, once again, you can only have 3 infantry squads, 1 tank squad, in which I highly suggest the following squads to be for a free-to-play player are going to be a tanker squad, depending on which map of course, an assaulter squad, a radio operator squad, and a machine gunner squad. But that said, let's move on to the next section, which is the daily tasks and the battle pass. To the right, you can see this lovely battle pass section, in which, as of right now, the battle pass is going on, and all you have to do is to do your daily tasks and get those points, complete them, and then all you have to do is to get wonderful rewards. Some include gold troop orders, gold weapon orders, which once again is really important if you really want to use them properly, and not to mention sometimes you get gold, like enlisted gold, so that is going to be even better. After that, we can go to the game mode, and in the sense that we can change the squads. As you can see, we have a lot of game modes, such as the tutorial, in which I highly suggest that you take the tutorial, but the tutorial is going to cover some of the basics, but not all of the economy basics, which I'm covering right now. Next we have the practice, in which you can test fire your weapons and drive your tanks or fly your planes. After that we have your squads, which is basically where you battle. After that you have events, which really shouldn't be here depending on the time. And then finally we have custom matches, which is basically people creating their own games. Of course, I would highly suggest that you guys do squads, since, let's be honest, squads is the basic de facto where everyone plays the game. After that, we have the settings, and now you can go to settings on the top right, click on this 3 dots, 3 slashes, click on this thing, and go to options. After that, you can do a lot of stuff. Sound, game, voice chat, graphics. Graphics, I basically suggest that you don't tweak them, but sound, I suggest that you don't tweak them at all. I have my sound to this, which is pretty interesting. Game is once again as follows, and yeah, voice chat is basically no one uses them, but that said, let's go back to the other settings, which is the controls. And now this is where things get interesting. Mouse sensitivity, you can move. Mouse aiming speed, you can also move. This is where you get a lot of the sensitivity issues, in which you can tune it to your own liking. I have mine tuned to my own liking. Others include movement, which is WASD, and if you haven't figured out by now, weapons, and do everyone yourselves a big favor and go down to the grenade section, and that is where you can do some interesting stuff, such as throw explosive pack using G or something like that. I personally suggest keybinds for the explosive packs, grenades, impact grenades, stuff like that, by using G. After that, it's pretty much other stuff such as planes, inference, voice chat, spectator, but everything besides the grenades, and which you keybind to G, I highly suggest that you don't really touch anything else. And that is said, we are ready to jump into a battle. That's it guys, this is all it for the intro. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.